This is criminal, brutal, and barbaric, to say the least. Scenes reminiscent of an action-packed movie, but these are the changing times in Uganda. Ugandan police claim that opposition leader Kizza Besigye had resumed his walk-to-work protest against spiraling food and oil prices in Uganda. Besigye, however, was in his car, but in full glare of cameras, state operatives blocked his vehicle. After a long standoff, plainclothes police officers smashed his car window with a hammer, but Besigye refused to come out. His bodyguards were dragged from the vehicle and severely beaten. A plainclothes security officer smashed yet another window with a pistol as Besigye covered his face, but the drama had yet to reach its climax. Besigye was then dragged along the road and flung into the back of a pickup truck and whisked away. Police then dispersed hundreds of Besigye supporters gathered nearby using tear gas as others fired live bullets. The humiliation comes just a day after he was released from jail. The protest, dubbed Walk to Work in solidarity with Kampala residents who cannot afford public transport as a result of high fuel prices, have been joined by several opposition politicians, one of them still in detention. Pamela Sigi, NTV.
For you are nothing to me. You are nothing. You know that I pay your salary. You pay my salary. Will you? You pay my salary. You know that I'm Uganda and I pay your salary. You don't pay my salary. If you pay my salary, what are you doing here? You address me exactly. You open there. Let her enter there. You are shaming me in public. You are shaming me in public. You are not me. You are not me. Woman. You woman. You are. You want to break my leg, you man!
Maeneo ya kati Jora Mwesigye walitimua maandamano hayo na kuwakamata wahusika. Waandishi wa habari waliokuwa kinasa yaliyokuwa wakiendelea nao wakageukiwa. Mnasa picha wa runinga ya WBS Andrew Lwanga aligeukiwa na kamanda Mwesigye na kupigwa batuni kichwani, kamera yake kuharibiwa na kukamatwa, huku mwanahabari mwingine wa runinga akiraruliwa suruali, huku wa redio akizabwa kofi. Baada ya kuchapwa batuni kichwani, mwandishi huyo alikamatwa hatua iliyoibua hisia kali kutoka kwa waandishi wa habari wengine waliomtaka kamanda Mwesigye kueleza ni kwa nini hasira zake azielekeze kwa waandishi wa habari.
Messages in his car, stood there with many of his supporters still around. Thousands of them had come down this road. Some have dispersed since the police fired tear gas. The police line is on this side, the line of riot police there, and they had some anti-riot vehicles. They fired some tear gas and some stun grenades. But as of now, we're waiting to find out if Messages will be able to continue from his car there, just around the corner, to the university, where he's meant to be giving a rally.
There is an ease now at the Kasese District Tally Center after 2 ballot boxes that came in from the Nyamwamba division, unescorted by police but on an electoral commission government truck, were refused from being admitted into the Tally Center. The FDC officials who have been inside the Tally Center say that these boxes contain ballots that they cannot account for, and they have refused that these boxes be admitted into the Tally Center.
Let's listen from the funding this time. Make your decision. Wait.
We are building transparency. We are using but because we would not open the transparency without the black one. This one, we pick the black one as they open the black
can see in the background, these are the supporters of the opposition FDC that have been waiting on their results all the way from 2 a.m. last night. And police is reinforcing themselves right now. At the moment, we do not know where this situation will lead, but FDC still maintains that this situation is a situation they will not allow.
Bigger.
That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. Look at them.
Wewe. Bana magari. Bana magari.
Honorable, what is this about attention?
This is just hooliganism of untold magnitude. After they have lost, they want to disrupt the tallying process so that they rig elections. People cannot be treated like they are in a foreign land. We are in our own country. They can't treat us like this. If they want, we can retaliate. And in a strong way, by the way. Not be treated to tear gas because they are celebrating their win.
And even there was no cause.
There was no cause for tear gas. There was no cause for live ammunition. People are just merely celebrating. And the reason is because the Electoral Commission has delayed to declare the winners.
That's the
People
problem.
are just on session. Since yesterday they have been tallying. Up to now they are still tallying. They are even continuing to bring in new ballot boxes at this time.
Maybe they are being distracted by the
So it could have been maybe their orders from above. They want to disrupt the process so that they bring in ballot boxes that have stopped them from bringing in, and they rig the whole process. We are not going to allow it. If it means shedding blood, we shall shed it.
He ran past all your men. Why didn't they stop him? Huh? If he was a civilian, if he was a civilian who pepper sprayed someone, why didn't they stop him? Are you serious? Are you a professional, seriously?
You are not a professional. You are not good at your job. You do not know what you are doing here. You have no control, no respect from your troops. Clearly, they operate without your authority. They can get away in a moment's notice. What a joke!
You got the man
What
out
an
of it, and you know
absolute
joke
joke
you are
why
running.
don't you just have the
decency to admit
joke.
what you did? Why don't you have the respect for yourself to admit what you did?
Have some respect for yourself.
Why are you lying to us when it's so
Jesus
obvious?
Christ!
Huh?
That it is a man who came from you.
They must be know where he is. If he's a criminal, they must have arrested
What a bunch of jokers, huh?
How did the man run past all your soldiers?
How can you allow a civilian join
How did he run past all your men?
I won't be.
Why didn't they apprehend him?
with us?
Why didn't
But
they
you decided
apprehend
often
him?
to join us.
Why didn't they apprehend
You
him?
came with your man.
Why did your? But if he came with us, why didn't you apprehend him?
You told me you're not a man.
An incident happened on your site. You were not in control. You did not apprehend the man. What a joke!
And your men took him
You
away.
call yourself policemen. What a joke! What an absolute joke!
We speak, the candidate is not in the party headquarters, but it's police outside party headquarters. There is police all over the country. The candidate is not all over the country. President Museveni is trying to make it seem as this issue is about the candidate. This issue is not about the candidate. This issue is about our rights and freedoms as the people. We intend to break the arrogance of the regime and the sense of impunity that they have. We have 39 million people. We have our rights and freedoms. They need to be observed.
I am arrested roughly, even when I offer myself. They still must grab me and literally lift me and push me and shove me and, throw me into the van, drive the van like, you know, they have been possessed by demons. Yesterday we were driving at 140 kilometers an hour on a Maram road between Kasangati and Kira. There was one huge policeman on this side, another huge policeman on this side. I was just squeezed in the middle. But no pleading with these fellows about, in fact, they were enjoying it, especially these huge goons who go in that van. They were enjoying it, and they came back to Kasangati police and parked there in the compound. We spent there about 2 hours. They got out. And yeah. No, it's hot. It was like, yes, once they beat me from we were coming from Central Police Station. I've just been brought back to my house from Nagarama Police. We left Nagarama Police around 10 p.m. and I protested even before we left Nagarama that I don't want my house to be turned into a prison, because last night I was brought back from Nagarama at about the same time, and when I tried to get out of my house, I was told I couldn't. My house was completely surrounded, and I was not able to get out until this morning when I was taken back to Nagarama. This means that I am continuously detained. I have not been freed from the time I was arrested. First, I'm continuously detained, which means I have been under detention for more than the time that is allowed by the law. We have rejected the outcome of this election. We shall not cooperate with the military regime. A regime cannot survive without our cooperation. So be strong. We, by the grace of God, shall overcome. We knew right from the beginning that the Electoral Commission that was organizing and managing this election was a partisan, incompetent, and discredited body as from the previous elections. We knew that the military and security organizations were going to be engaged in a partisan and unfair way like they did in the past. To our compatriots, the people of Uganda, what has happened means that you still have no vote. You have no power to decide what happens in your country. Voting is the most fundamental right that every citizen should enjoy to determine what happens in their country. And this is something that we have been denied since independence. We cannot accept this to continue. We must have rights in our country. We must regain our vote. We must regain our control over the country. We shall not go backwards. Fellow citizens of Uganda, my fellow Africans, international citizens and friends of Uganda, members of the press and the diplomatic community. I am making this statement while under house arrest. My home is sealed off, and I'm not allowed to leave, nor is even anybody allowed to come into my residence. I'm also under some kind of electronic blockade. I'm unable to access the internet services in my house. It is under these circumstances, which have been existing since I was brought back from prison last night, that I have heard the Electoral Commission declaring the final results of the presidential elections of 2016. We have just witnessed what must be the most fraudulent electoral process in Uganda so far. We participated in this process well knowing that it was inherently fraud because of the lack of freedom in our country, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of movement. In fact, this lack of freedom has now been put in law, although it existed even without the notorious Public Order and Management Act. So we had a very restricted period before the campaigns, during the campaigns, and as you can see, even after the campaigns. We have an election that is organized by a body that cannot, by any stretch of imagination, be considered as independent. The Uganda Independent Electoral Commission, which is appointed by one of the candidates and which serves at the pleasure of that candidate, who is the president. And we have indeed witnessed in this, as is in previous elections, officials of this commission acting in a clearly partisan and activist manner to promote the interests of one candidate. We, at the beginning of this election, knew that the military and security institutions in this country have been doing everything they can to bias the environment in which an election is conducted. We have a media that is not equitably accessible to all the participants in the political processes of our country. I, before this election and during this election, have been stopped from accessing radio programs. I have never accessed any of the government media except once, when the person that erred in hosting me was promptly sacked. This election is indeed conducted in an environment where we have government structures that are fused with the NRM structures. In fact, the most important state structure, which is the structure at the grassroots called the Local Council 1, is a council that was formed before what is now billed to be a multi-party dispensation. They are structures of the one-party NRM state. They have never been replaced. And these are the ones that carry out voter registration, helping voter registration, and many other functions that affect the elections that happened in this country. This election indeed was going to take place in an environment where state funds, public funds, are freely and opulently used by the ruling NRM regime in their partisan activities. So, ladies and gentlemen, we knew that this was the situation, and part of our participation in this election was indeed to expose what the environment, the political environment in our country is for everybody who cares for this country to understand. And I believe that this just ended election has indeed demonstrated that. On the just ended electoral process, the Electoral Commission first attempted to deny any Ugandan the use of a telephone or a camera around the polling areas. Again, this was in a blatant attempt to impede transparency of the election. When that failed, the social media platforms were all switched off, and up to now have not been restored. This indeed was also designed to impede transparency.